Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Glorious Life on Wheels, where I am going to show you how to make delicious, simple meals on a budget that you can make anywhere and on any equipment, including a simple butane stove. So what you say? Come on and join me. Today I am going to be showing you how to make a simply delicious breakfast casserole. And casseroles you usually think of as doing in an oven, but this casserole I'm doing on top of this butane stove. And it is for less than $1 a serving. I've used about 3 medium-sized potatoes, about a half a package of sausage from Walmart, about 5 eggs, but you could use however many eggs you want depending on how many people you're going to be serving, and the same thing for the number of potatoes. I also have about a half a cup total of green pepper and yellow pepper. I really like red pepper, but I didn't have any, so as I tell you all the time, just use what you have. So I used green and yellow pepper. Now you can also use frozen potatoes, but many of my viewers are in RVs or other vehicles and they don't have a freezer. So in order to show you how to make it without having to have a freezer, I used regular potatoes, and I used about maybe 3 medium potatoes. I peeled them and diced them up. Now when I use red potatoes, I don't peel them because I like the flavor of the skin on the red potatoes. But this is about 3 brown potatoes. I think it was russet potatoes. As far as seasoning, I'm using Tony Chachery because I like to have it a little bit spicy. I'm also using some garlic powder, onion powder, and some black pepper, of course. And then I also like to use this Saison seasoning. This is the cilantro, and it just really gives a good flavor to almost anything you cook. You'll also need a little bit of oil, vegetable oil, or if you want to do bacon, produces a little more fat, so you can use the fat from the bacon instead of vegetable oil. But what I do is did I say this already? I don't think I did. But if I'm repeating myself, bear with me. What I do is I cook my potatoes for about maybe 5 minutes, diced, so that they, when I'm doing the casserole, it's quicker to make. So I've already mixed my peppers in here with the potatoes that I already parboiled. And I'm going to add them to this. You can hear that sizzling. I've already heated up my pot, and I am going to let these cook for probably about 10 to 12 minutes, and then turn them over. It might not even need that long, we'll see, because as I said, I've already cooked them some. So we'll see how long it takes, and I'll come back and let you know. Well, it looks like this is about ready for the next step, which is I'm going to add in my sausage, which is already cooked. And you cook it just till there's no more pink. And then you mix that in here really well. Oh, I want to let you know I missed one ingredient, and that is shredded cheese. Now, what you do is at the very end, you will put about a half a cup of shredded cheese on the top and just let it melt at the end. I didn't have any shredded cheese because I didn't want to go to Costco. Being in a high-risk group, I'm really trying to limit my trips to the grocery store. And last time I drove by Costco, there was a long line, and I did not want to stand in that long line. So, but you do need cheese also if you're going to make it the way that I usually make it. But this way is delicious, and I'm just going to show you. Now, before I add the final ingredient here, I'm going to put my seasoning. I'm going to put, about maybe a teaspoon of Tony Chachery. As you know, I love garlic powder, so I'm going to put a liberal amount of garlic powder. I'm going to add some onion powder, and I didn't add onion to this dish because one of my loyal followers, Happy Camper, her husband doesn't like onions. So it's delicious with onions, without onions, either way. I add just a tiny bit of Sol or seasoned salt. Since I already have the Tony Chachery, I don't want to add a lot. And then I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. And just a dash, I'll turn this down a little bit. About half a pack of the Saison seasoning that I've been telling you about. And then I'm going to mix that up really good. You can see how well this is coming together. Whoo, boy, this smells good. You do not have to add the meat if you don't want meat. You can add, actually you probably could add chicken to this instead of red meat, or just leave the meat out altogether. If you want to do a vegan, and you could put a few other vegetables in here instead. Now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pour my egg over this. Now my mom, whenever she made omelets, oops, got a bit of a wind going on here. Whenever she made omelets, she used to add a couple tablespoons of milk to the omelet, and I do the same thing whenever I'm making an egg mixture or an omelet. So I added about 2 or 3 tablespoons, maybe a little more of milk to this, and mixed it up. Now I'm going to just pour this all over my potatoes and eggs, get them a little bit more centered there, and then I'm just going to let this cook. I'm going to try and get it really even so it cooks pretty evenly. Now I only have 5 eggs in this, but as I said, if you want, you could add 8, 10, a dozen, depending on how many you're trying to feed. Okay, we're going to let this cook out for about 10 minutes or so, and we'll come back and check it. You don't flip it, you don't do anything, you just let it cook and settle in here. And remember, the last step, which I'm not going to do today, but I will put it in the instructions, is you just sprinkle shredded cheese all over the top of it, either sharp cheddar. I also like the three cheese Mexican shredded that I get from Costco, but just put it all over the top of it when this is not quite but almost done, and it'll just melt down nicely and just give it a delicious added touch. All right, we'll be back shortly. Well, it looks like we may be ready to plate this and see. Now, I told you that this is less than $1 a serving, and I am going to put the price on the video so that you can see exactly how much it costs. So this can get, I'm going to cut this up. I cut it up. I wish I did have the cheese. Oh boy, we're having issues with the wind, so I'm going to put this down here to hold this tablecloth down so that you can see what I'm doing here. But anyhow, I'm going to cut this up. Now, if you have adults and really hungry, you can do 4 servings, but I usually do 8, and then I'll give 2 to the adults, 2 slices to the adults, and 1 slice to the kids. But you've got 8 slices here, and I'm going to give myself, I'm going to plate this up here. You just, it's like you're doing a, cutting a pie, actually, kind of like cutting a pizza pie. So let's go ahead and taste this and see. With 5 eggs, it takes about 15 minutes to do this. With 10 eggs, I'm thinking it would probably take maybe about 30 minutes or so. But let's go ahead and see. Oh, sausage, potatoes, peppers, seasoning. Only thing it's missing in cheese is the cheese, rather. And I'm sorry about that, but I'll put it in the recipe. But as I said, I just didn't want to go to the store again. But let's see how this is. You know, some of you have said that your favorite part is when I taste it. Well, I've got to tell you, my favorite part is when I taste it. And this is, I just can't even tell you, this is so good. I've never had it without the cheese, and I'm surprised at how good it is without the cheese. It's delicious even without the cheese. Well, I'm not going to keep eating this in front of you, so although I want to. But thank you again. Thank you for joining me. Oh, and I need to share with you, a couple of weeks ago, I told you how I thought my microphone had been stolen from the back of my car because there had been a rash of car burglaries in my neighborhood. Well, guess what? My daughter found my mic. I had put it in a bag that I didn't remember putting it in, and so when I was looking for it, I didn't recognize that bag. And for the next couple of weeks, we did videos without the mic. Go figure. But anyhow, have you ever done that? You put something away and you forget where you put it? Thank goodness my daughter found it. So we're back with a mic, and even though it's windy as all blazes here, I think the quality is pretty good. Thank you for all of you express your sympathy for when I thought I'd lost my mic. But anyhow, comment. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And when you watch it, would you please make a comment and hit that like button? It really helps. And I think we're up to 162 subscribers. We're up from last week, so hooray for that. And I look forward to continuing this with you each week. And if I don't have all the ingredients, I'm still going to come on because I want to be consistent and every week do a show for you. And I will just do it with what I have in the house to show you that you can make a delicious meal with just odds and ends. Thank you again. Goodbye, friends, and may your journeys be filled with joy and blessing. Till next Thursday, bye.